First to breaking news in Northwest Portland, where police say they have a suspect in custody after a brief standoff that ended within the last 20 minutes. The second standoff with the same man in the same neighborhood in less than 48 hours.
The first was Monday night and ended with police deciding to walk away and not make an arrest. Catherine Cook is live for us in Northwest Portland. Catherine, give us an update on what's happening where you are right now.
The suspect that was involved in
Christine and David, police have just taken the gentleman into custody. Here with us live is Sergeant Kevin Allen with an update.
Right now he's actually on his way to jail. Where for the past few hours now, we have been at this location. There were some streets blocked because of the operation here, and we were using the Special Emergency Reaction Team and the Crisis Negotiation Team, coupled with the Major Crimes Unit from the Detective Division, as well as Central Precinct Neighborhood Response Team and patrol officers. So it was a pretty broad operation, and I'm going to have the chief speak to his priorities and the reason we devoted so many resources to this. But the short version is that we established that the suspect was in a tent at this location, 21st and Hoyt, and the Special Emergency Reaction Team used their vehicles. They have armored vehicles that they use to move in, surround the tent so that he couldn't run like he did on Monday. That was our concern, that he would be out in the neighborhood running around with knives and other weapons. So the priority was to get him contained. That was very successful, kept him in the tent, and then we slowed things down, used time as a tactic, used our crisis negotiators to try to communicate with him and do everything we could to resolve this with the least amount of force necessary. There was some tools that were used, including OC canisters and CS gas. There was also EDU robots that we have in place here that were also utilized in order to make sure that everything was resolved in as safe a manner as possible. And my understanding is there were no injuries as a result of this. So I will be available for questions. Commander Hughes will be available for questions, but I'm going to have Chief Bob Day step forward and have a few words.
Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate it. First of all, I just want to thank the community for their patience, for their understanding. The last couple of days, particularly here in Northwest, I've heard some of the frustration and concerns. I've also heard some of the appreciation expressed by Portlanders in terms of the approach that we took on Monday to try and de-escalate things as the incident unfolded, and certainly Commander Hughes has a better understanding of that. Know that number one priority of the Portland Police Bureau is the sanctity of life, and we will always look to prioritize that in all that we do, and that includes everyone's safety and the value of everyone involved. So certainly, first and foremost, this suspect, what is the potentially best outcome for him, also the safety of our members as well as the safety of the greater community. We weigh those risks in every situation we encounter. Sometimes we have more time to evaluate those than we do others. I want to really congratulate, or at least to recognize and thank the men and women of the Portland Police Bureau who over the last 24 to 48 hours have been very thoughtful in their response, have been very collaborative. We worked across numerous divisions. Today I made the decision to make this arrest a priority. I believe that the risk involved in his behavior, the suspect's behavior, both it posed to himself as it posed to the community, and could potentially pose if there was another officer involved encounter. By bringing in additional resources, prioritizing this, we were able to bring this to a safe conclusion with no injuries. And that's the outcome that we desire anytime we have to use force or interdict behavior. We want to try and do that at the lowest level possible. So yes, it was a big commitment on us, but it was necessary to make sure that we could have this resolved. I'll take a few questions.
Should Portlanders expect this kind of response for all arrests associated with folks in the houseless community who may be exhibiting mental health crisis?
No, this is definitely a unique approach. We had a significant amount of information to go off of, not only the events of Monday night, but the last couple of days. We know that he had a warrant for resist arrest for prior involvement with law enforcement. I do think that this is an opportunity for us to continue to strive towards the mayor's plan of ending unsheltered homelessness, that we have a crisis on our streets, and I am very supportive of his initiative to try and change that dynamic so that, particularly starting with the removal of tents and tarps, which do provide a place that can conceal behavior that makes our jobs much more difficult and certainly higher risk. And so I don't see this as a ongoing typical response to incidents, but we will continue to evaluate each one as they come.
This week, you guys emphasized the importance of de-escalating the situation and that the suspect was not a threat to the public. What changed to the point where you guys had to use gas?
Right. So de-escalation takes a lot of different forms, and sometimes de-escalation may appear that we're escalating by bringing in additional resources or using additional tools, but we intentionally have the ability to stair-step our approach. It doesn't mean that it's escalating, it's actually a reduction. So even though we used gas in this particular case, that's still allowing for that standoff distance. It's still allowing for him to be able to participate in the arrest process, so we don't have to go into the tent, drag him out, put hands on, maybe get in an altercation with a knife or have it be a deadly force. So the overall risk assessment is always ongoing. We made a decision on Monday night. As I said, we've been evaluating that risk, not only the risk to the community, but there's certainly a risk to him personally, and then there's certainly anything. If we knew we were going to be taking him into custody at some point, we wanted to minimize that risk, and so doing so today was the safest way possible.
Chief, do you think that there was a possibility that the public could have be put in danger after being subjected to another standoff when there was an opportunity for an arrest on Monday?
Yeah, there's certainly risk. There was risk on Monday, there was risk today, right? And we can never eliminate risk. Our job is to try and mitigate it as much as possible. So we made decisions on Monday that we will carefully review and evaluate as to whether or not we believe those were the best decisions at the time. But I'm always going to defer and trust in the judgment and leadership of the men and women on the ground doing the work. And we have really competent supervisors that I have a lot of confidence in. But that does not mean that this won't be looked at thoroughly from start to finish to see if another response was available. As I mentioned, we have heard from numerous Portlanders who appreciated the fact that we stepped away on Monday night, that we took the approach that we did. But I also am sympathetic to the fact that we have a lot of people in this neighborhood, businesses and so forth, that were impacted directly, and our stepping away produced a period of time of concern, and I want to be sensitive to that as well. And so we will be taking all that in. For the remainder of this evening, at least, there will be a higher level of police presence. We're going to have our bike squad and folks up here doing outreach. We are circling back with some of the businesses that were impacted, trying to provide a better picture of why the decisions we made and how we ended up here today.
Why did your officers fail to secure the parking lots before deploying CS gas?
I'm not available for that question. I don't know the details of that. I can find out for you, but I don't have an answer for that.
There were children present. Does that concern you?
Okay. I don't have any details on the exact operation today. I'm sure that Kevin Allen can get that for you.
Been briefed?
I've been briefed overall on the incident, yes, but not specifics on that. Just the overall that we were here, that we used gas, and we took him into custody. I don't have the details about how it was set up, but Kevin can get that for you.
Because the gas made it all the way to Gleason.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions?
I have a question about the less lethal munition used on him.
All right, guys, we're going to go ahead and break away for now, but that was Portland Police Chief Bob Day. Again, a gentleman has been arrested after a very lengthy standoff, not only today, but Monday as well here near Northwest 21st and Hoyt. We'll have more details tonight at 11. Back to you guys.
Appreciate your reporting on this, Catherine. Again, just hearing from Portland Police now from Sergeant Kevin Allen as well as Chief Bob Day talking about the suspect being on their way to jail, using armored vehicles to surround the tent, and no injuries today.
Tear gas deployed robots as well. This is the second standoff in 48 hours. The suspect in custody wanted for identity theft in Clackamas County, as well as a warrant for resisting arrest. Police saying they weighed the risks here, that he still presented a behavioral danger, they believe, to himself and the community, and decided to make that effort today to bring him into custody.
And at the end of the day, the chief said, well, their number one priority was safety of all parties, including the person that they brought into custody today.
Yeah, a balancing act, he said, of course.
Absolutely. And we will, of course, continue to cover the situation as we learn more about what happened this afternoon. You can